Hello everybody, CW here. Well, the barrel arrived. I didn't do an unboxing, I just opened it up. It's just a box. Picked this up from a feller on one of the forums I'm on. I put a note in that I was looking for a barrel and he contacted me and said he's got two of them. Pretty sure he's got a 10 and a 14. He'll get back to me. Got back to me, he said he couldn't find the 14. I couldn't find the 10. Must have sold it. So offered me the 14. Gave me a price. I accepted. Here it is. I really wanted a 10, but this will be all right. The only reason is just 41 Magnum. You're already getting a huge increase with a 10-inch barrel over the ballistics that you know of for the caliber, because they're all based on 6 and 8 and 3/8 inch barrels in a revolver, which is a vented barrel. So going to a 10-inch contender barrel, which is non-vented, you're already picking up a good bit of performance. Plus the extra 2 inches, you're getting even more velocity. So I really don't need the advantage of the extra 4 inches over the 10. And for the bulk, the weight, the mass, I just don't see it. So that's why I wanted the 10. But I've got a 14. But I figured, what the heck? If it works out, shoots really well, and I don't mind it, it's fine. If I do hate it, I can always chop it off and recrown it. No big deal. It's just a barrel. So, now I have to decide what I want to do for a mount on here. It came with the nice Williams sights, as you can see here. These were, I believe they were an option on the 14s. You get this nice front sight, and you get this nice rear sight. It goes on the top in the same screw holes as the regular sights do, as the scope mounts do. It just hangs over the side, and it gives you a nice broad leaf. It's a really nice sight for competition, silhouette, or if you just want to have an open sight. We're going to run a scope, and I think I want to run one of the 2 3/4 powers on here. I'm thinking this latest one. We'll run this one on here. But we've got a 2 power, and then we've got another 2 3/4 power over here. So we'll decide. Now, I've also got a decision to make with the mounts. Do I want to go with the new EGW base and a pick rail and throw a couple of C-rings on it? Or I've got this Leopold base, and then I've also got this Redfield base with 3 rings. Now, is this going to have the recoil to really benefit from the extra ring? I don't know. I don't intend on pushing it for all it's worth. What else do I have that I need this to be on? I could see it going on the 57 Harriet, because that's definitely been a recoiler in the past. So I'm thinking I might save it, and I can always put it on later if I think it's warranted. So I think I talked myself out of this one. We'll leave this out. We'll save this for another day in case it's needed somewhere else. So that leaves to use this one or to use the EGW. Now, let's see what I got over here. Everything is in, almost everything. The 730 Waters is in a one-piece base, but everybody else is in Weavers. I'm sorry, Redfield style for the 14s. So I guess we'll put this on. We'll run this one. We can always change it if we think we need to, or if we think it's warranted. So we'll save this bag because we're going to put this sight in there, and we got all our screws. I got to clean that up. So let me get this cleaned up. I can't show you on air because you might get hurt, and we want to make sure everybody stays safe. So I'll clean this up, and I'll come back, and this will be mounted on there, and then we'll talk a little bit, and then we'll get the scope mounted. I'll come back. Stand by. Magic. Okay. So we cleaned that up, took the base off, cleaned out the screw holes, made sure all the Loctite was out of there, cleaned up the screws, attached this base. Again, you want to be careful, and you want to be sure that your screws aren't too long, especially with these contenders, because they don't use a lot of depth. The holes aren't very deep, and it's very easy for you to have too long of a screw. So you screw it in, you think you're tight, think you've made the base snug, and all you've done is sock that down to the bottom of that tapped hole, and your screw is up way too long, and your base is still wiggling in the wind. So put each screw in one at a time, sock it down and make sure your base doesn't move, and then back it off so it wiggles. Put the next screw in, sock it down, make sure the base doesn't move, back it off, make sure the base wiggles. Put the next screw in all the way down till you get the last screw in, and then you start in the middle and you stagger, and you make sure that it's snugged up. Snug it up, snug it up, snug it up. Keep going tighter, tighter, tighter until you get to the torque setting that you want. Manufacturer recommends less than 20 on the scope rings, and that's more for the scope than it is for the tightness of the torque setting for the screws. You can go a little bit more than that with the screw setting, so the bases are going to be a little more, say 25, 23, 25. I don't really use a torque setting on the bases. I just put them on there so they're good and tight, and give them a wrap and get them good and tight. Don't go crazy. It's only a number 6 screw. You're probably capable of twisting it off. So, but you can tell how much it needs without any problem. When you do the scope, that's where I'll use the fat wrench, because 20 pounds is a little bit harder to know. 18 pounds, and it's going to save your scope. It's going to save you from scope marks. It's going to save you from operations inside that are kinked because they won't operate. I'll see if I can do this. So that's what the setting is on. We're going to leave this on here because we're going to spin in the scope, and we're going to switch over to this when I torque this down. So let's get this scope here, and let's put it on here. Ready? And there it is. Oh, I'm glad I threw that carefully. Easy to screw that up. And there it is. I did have these on. I told you I like to put them upside down, and it's just a little bit too high from opening all the way up, and it does make noise when it does that. But for now I'm going to leave it because it's going to be okay. It doesn't matter. And I got it square. I don't think I need to worry about a level on here, although I do have a level coming for the 730 waters. That one might see a little more range. This one is probably going to be a close range situation, which means it doesn't going to see a big advantage to the to the use of a level. But let's put our handy dandy collimator on here, and let's adjust this scope to be in the center of the crosshairs, so at least we're starting from square, somewhat square. Uh-oh, my My quarter's gone. Oh, there it is. I got a quarter I keep over here in a little cup that I can adjust. Oh, we're way to the right. We were almost off the grid. I just lost my quarter. But we're almost dead center. Almost dead center with just my adjustment there. And I think I got to go up. Yep, I got to go up. And there we go. We're just about dead center. Beautiful. Nice adjustments. Nice clicks. And we're dead center. So put these caps back on. That's the only thing I saw with this scope. This is the one I got in used last time, and it's I don't know, it's not maybe a little bit of lube will help. Want to be careful you don't get lube on the inside of your turrets there, because it will migrate into your scope and it can be bad. But I'm just going to wipe the threads here a little bit and see if that doesn't help with air. Night and day. They get a little bit galled, a little bit dust gets in them from the lead. It comes off, and they don't want to thread nicely. So you just clean out the threads. I call that good, but I got a little bit extra oil in there, so I want to get rid of that. Again, we don't want it to migrate into our scope and cause problems. But definitely works better with a little bit of lube on there, because those went right on, and I had trouble with that before. So the scope's got a few marks in it. You can see a couple of hickeys on there, but it's not new, it's used. And there we go. There is our new 41 Magnum barrel for the Contender. So I got a couple of calibers to get out here with, boy. I moved the scope on the 30 Harriet, so that has to be resighted in. I put a new scope on the 357 Harriet 10-inch. The 14-inch didn't change. And now this has got a new barrel and a new scope on it. Do I have a 41 mag? I don't think I have a 41 mag. No, I don't. I gotta buy a 41 bore snake. But thankfully the barrel's not very dirty, so it'll be okay for now. But I'll get a 41 bore snake in, add it to my list. And there we go. Just a quick video on this 41 Magnum barrel. So there we go. All right. God bless everybody. Be on the range with it soon as the weather permits. Right now we're having a blizzard outside. Supposed to get 10 inches. We'll see what we really get. God bless everybody. CW out.